Hello, everyone. My name is Steph, and I am joined today by my relative, Anne.
Hello, Steph.
Hello, Anne. Do you remember a few weeks ago when we discussed stepladders?
Yes, so we can succeed in losing weight.
And we agreed that we would start by eating less ice cream and restricting ice cream consumption to Fridays.
Yes, I did eat less ice cream over the week, but unfortunately, I didn't restrict myself to Fridays only.
I wasn't successful either. So, in order to understand how we can improve on that, let's talk about neurohacks. Conventional wisdom would suggest that in order to change your behavior, you have to change your attitude first, then your actions will inevitably follow. Neurohacks are predicated on the exact opposite notion: your mind follows your actions.
That sounds like a good approach to try.
As an example of this, I recall that you recently read a biography about Benjamin Franklin. Is that correct?
Yes, I read the biography by Walter Isaacson.
And you mentioned that it includes the story of how he borrowed a book from one of his rivals and became friends with him.
Yes, Ben Franklin was running for an elected position, and his rival gave a speech against him. And the person was a collector of rare books. And Ben decided to ask to borrow a book. And his adversary did loan the book to him. And then afterward, they became friends.
That same story appears in our textbook because when Franklin returned the book and returned a thank you note with it, he actually activated a neurohack. His rival became conflicted. Why would he so willingly loan the book to him? The only answer in his mind was that he was Benjamin's friend. And once he started to perceive himself as his friend, he began to act more as a friend would. So if you act a certain way, then you can reevaluate how you perceive yourself, and you become more likely to continue acting that way.
That makes sense. I can imagine if you keep doing kind deeds for other people, you would end up thinking that you were a kind person.
Exactly. In order for a neurohack to work, you need to influence how you perceive yourself, and that creates an intrinsic motivation. And I think that the reason why the ice cream rule wasn't more effective is because it established ice cream on Fridays as an external reward. So eating healthier throughout the rest of the week was only a means to an end. So it seems unintuitive, but too large of a reward can interfere with the neurohack's effectiveness. In fact, in class, we learned about an experiment that Leon Festinger conducted in 1959, which illustrated this exact concept. Each person who volunteered for the experiment was instructed to perform some monotonous tasks. One of them was to rotate a square peg, then rotate another peg, then individually rotate 46 other pegs before starting the whole process over and over again. The tasks were designed to be tedious, but once the participant was finished, they were paid either $1 or $20 to tell another person, supposedly the next participant, that the experiment was actually fun, even though it clearly wasn't, or rather, it shouldn't have been. Afterwards, the real participant filled out a survey indicating the extent to which they truly did enjoy or did not enjoy the experiment. Now, do you think that they reported higher enjoyment when they were offered $1 or when they were offered $20?
I suppose $20, but it's hard to imagine any of them enjoyed it.
I thought it would be the $20 group as well, but it turns out that the $1 subjects reported significantly higher levels of enjoyment because the subjects who were offered $20 had more of an incentive, or rather greater external pressure, to say that they enjoyed the experiment. They knew that they were only doing it for the money, whereas the subjects who received only $1 had more trouble justifying to themselves why they would tell someone that. So they convinced themselves that they had been telling the truth. They did enjoy the experiment.
Oh, that's interesting.
So how do you think we might use neurohacks to achieve weight loss?
Maybe by putting a sign on the refrigerator, something like, have you eaten vegetables today? And if we were continually eating vegetables, we would start to enjoy it more, and we would think of ourselves as someone who likes eating vegetables.
Right, and we wouldn't be forcing ourselves to do it. It would be our decision to eat more vegetables.
Right. if we were feeling hungry, we would just think of eating vegetables because that would be our new routine.
Either way, I think that this should be very effective. It looks like we're out of time, but thank you very much for joining me today, Anne.
Thank you, Steph.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.